Don't look now, but the Dodgers won again, 5 in a row, keeping pace, maintaining their lead, stretching their lead for best record in the National League. So much going on. Full team effort here. Let's get live on Locked On Dodgers.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Dodger fans, this is Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks to our everydayers for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen every weekday morning. And thank you to those of you who are with us live here on Tuesday evening. Remember, this show is free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube simply by searching for Locked On Dodgers. So please subscribe wherever you're watching or listening right now. If this is your first time with us, my name is Jeff Snyder. My normal co-host is Vince Semperio, although it's just me again tonight. Vince and I are both lifelong Dodger fans, just like a lot of you. We've also both spent time covering the Dodgers in the press box and the locker room, and we've done nearly 1,500 episodes of Locked On Dodgers over the past 5.5 seasons. So we bring you the smart fans' perspective on our boys in blue every weekday morning. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. And with that said, let's jump right in. Dodgers beat the Brewers 7-2, and it was a very, very good game for the Dodgers. They got, 4 home runs? Will Smith hit a home run, which was nice to see. Smith has been struggling. He ended up with 3 hits, a single, a double, and a homer. Shohei Ohtani hit another home run. Gavin hit a 2-run homer. Andy Pages hit a 2-run homer. Pages his first home run in almost 2 months, which was nice to see. All in all, everybody in the Dodgers lineup got a hit. Kevin Kiermaier is the only guy who played who didn't get a hit, and he didn't get a plate appearance. He just came in for defense because we did see early on in the game that Andy Pages' defense in center field continues to not be ideal. He made up for it in this game, so we'll give him a break there. But yeah, Smith had 3 hits. Freeman and Betts each had 2 hits. Mookie, 2 more hits is pretty remarkable for him to spend 2 months on the injured list, not do a rehab stint, and come back and just pick up right where he left off. It's been really fun to watch. Ohtani continues to be the kind of guy who you just have to watch every time he's up, because you never know what amazing thing he's going to do. And this home run, it was just kind of a standard Ohtani home run, just, really impressive. And ho-hum, another Shohei Ohtani home run. Gavin home run was really fun. We've talked a lot about how his approach lately has been jumping early on the count, either first pitch or when he gets into hitters counts, he is going for the slug, and then he's adjusting his approach as the count gets deeper. This was early in, I think it was the first pitch of the at-bat, but definitely early in the at-bat. And he got a hold of one, and, in his home state, obviously a lot of fun there. He had a lot of family in the stands. All in all, just a great game for the Dodgers offensively. We're going to talk about the pitching side in the second segment because that was really good too. But on the offensive side, seeing Will Smith get 3 hits, the Dodgers, I've talked a little bit about how Will Smith, for me, I think it's not that Will Smith can't handle hitting cleanup. Will Smith was batting .350 for the first month of the season, batting cleanup. But I do think it is easier for him, and probably for just about everybody, to perform well when there's not as much pressure on you. It's one thing to say, hey, you're one of our best hitters, so we're going to bat you 4th. It's another thing to say, hey, we bumped you up to 2nd because we only have 3 good hitters on the team. And that was the case for a while. This lineup was really, really struggling. When Mookie was out, when Freddie was gone, when Lux wasn't hitting yet, it was like when Kike wasn't hitting yet, there wasn't much going on. And so there's a little more pressure that way. And I'm always careful when I'm talking about pressure on Major League players, because I really do believe that Major League Baseball players are different than you and me, almost by definition. The fact that they've made it to the big leagues means that they are probably, by and large, better at dealing with pressure than you and I are. I'm not saying I couldn't handle the pressure is the only reason I didn't make it to the big leagues, but I definitely when I watch it, I'm like, I don't want that. I'm at the point where I'm like, I even hope my sons don't play in the big leagues. I can't handle the pressure as a dad. You know, that it takes a different kind of mindset to be a professional athlete, to go out there. I have a hard time when people like don't like me on Twitter. I can't imagine being booed by 50,000 people who are supposed to be rooting for you because you messed up. Like, no, thank you. And so I know that pro athletes are different than us. They are more mentally tough, but still, they're still human beings. And as I've talked in the past about the kind of the paradigm shift I had back in 2015, I was in the Dodgers locker room in spring training, and Clayton Kershaw was talking to AJ Ellis, and Callie Kershaw, Clayton's daughter, was just a couple months old. She had been born in January. This was March. And we were getting close to the end of spring training, and I overheard a conversation between AJ Ellis and Clayton Kershaw. AJ asked Kersh, have you and Ellen decided how you're getting to LA after spring training? And Kersh was talking about, we're trying to decide if we would rather spend 6 hours in a car with a baby or an hour on a plane with a baby, with all of that entails. And it just blew my mind because my wife and I had that exact conversation. We live in Utah. My family's in California. We go to California all the time. We have had many trips where I drove with two of the kids and my wife flew with the baby rather than taking the baby on a road trip. Like, it's the conversation we've had. We've also had trips where we took the baby. And so it was really an eye opener to me to remember these guys are human beings. They have, they're more talented than me. They're richer than me. They're more famous than me, but they also have a lot of the same things. So that's a long way of saying, I understand if Will Smith is going to perform better when he's not one of only 2 or 3 good hitters in the lineup. And so that's why I talked about last week. I really thought as guys come back, it might be really good for Smith. And now maybe this is just a coincidence. Maybe Smith just hit the ball well today, and slumps happen, and breaking out of slumps is sometimes as impossible to figure out as why the slump started in the first place. But I imagine it didn't hurt to have Mookie back, to have Kike hitting, to have Lux hitting. And so now Smith can bat 6th and know, you know what? I'm probably going to come up with guys on base. If I don't come through, the guy behind me is probably going to. That's a really good place to be in as a hitter. It's why I've always thought Smith was going to break out, why I know that Shohei's slump and Freddie's slump and whoever's slump won't last too long. And it's only going to get better when they get Muncy back. We'll see how long it takes Muncy to bounce back, but Max Muncy is still Max Muncy. Even if he struggles, it's not like he's, I don't want to say any specific names, but think of whoever you dreaded most the last couple months coming up to the plate for the Dodgers. Think of that person. Okay, we'll say it's Cavan Biggio, right? Max Muncy is not Cavan Biggio. Max Muncy has the potential to hit a home run, to rip a double down the line. Even if he struggles a little bit, it's going to be better. Tommy Edman, he's not going to win a batting title. He's not going to be a superstar, but he's going to play good defense in center field, and he's going to put the bat on the ball. And that's really exciting because now the Dodgers lineup is just going to get longer and longer, and that will take more and more pressure off of these guys in the lineup so that everybody will benefit from that. And I think we're starting to see that with Mookie back. Plus, like I said, Kike and Lux starting to perform. And, if Andy Pages starts hitting too, they'll make that decision hard for the Dodgers, at least, Andy. Right now, I would guess that Pages won't be on the roster for the postseason, but I hope he makes it a hard decision. Dodgers are also going to have hard decisions, hopefully, to make on who's in their postseason rotation. I'm going to come back in a minute. I'm going to talk about that because Gavin Stone looked like a sure thing for the rotation for a lot of the season. And then the last month and a half, he's looked like a sure not thing for the rotation. Well, Gavin Stone seems to have a thing to say about that. And guess what? Yoshinobu Yamamoto might be coming back soon. So we're going to dig into all of that in the next segment. So thanks for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen, and please keep it Locked On Dodgers. This episode is brought to you by Liquid IV. I was at Dodger Stadium last week. I had a little mini helmet of ice cream. It was a lot of fun. I also took a popsicle to the stadium with me. No, not an actual popsicle, Liquid IV. When you're taking in America's pastime, don't forget to hydrate with Liquid IV's Popsicle Firecracker flavor, a surefire summer hit. Get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, because baseball and summer go together like Liquid IV and indulgent hydration. I force myself to drink a ton of water. I found that's a lot easier with Liquid IV in this big water bottle of mine. I love the Popsicle Firecracker flavor, and the lemon lime is also really, really good. Just tear open a packet, pour it in 16 ounces of water to hydrate, way better than water alone. It's powered by LIV Hydroscience, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. It has 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, with 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. No more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MLB at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. This episode is also brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. This Saturday, PrizePicks is giving you a free pick. Take Israel Adesanya to get more than 0.5 significant strikes in his title fight at UFC 305. It's free money. So get in on the excitement and win up to 100 times your money with the summer, with all of your sports with PrizePicks. PrizePicks, you could turn $10 into 100 and into 1,000. Man, my math is bad. Turn $10 into 1,000 while watching your favorite sports. You can make a PrizePicks lineup of players across sports in as little as 60 seconds. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you're locked in. It's available in more than 30 states across the country, including California. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make PrizePicks the #1 fantasy sports app. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB in the PrizePicks app for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks, pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Hey, I'm back. Thank you for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen every weekday morning. Thanks for being an everydayer if you are. If you're not an everydayer, it's easy to become one. Just watch or listen every weekday morning. We really appreciate you. We also appreciate those of you who are here with us live. Tonight, most nights, we're live most evenings these days, Sunday through Thursday evenings, to get our Monday through Friday episodes out first thing in the morning. So thank you for being here with us. Remember, you can go beyond the podcast and become a Locked On Dodgers insider by going to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnDodgers. You text with us directly, just a few bucks a month, free 14-day trial. It's a lot of fun, so please check that out. Also, check out Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Sports Los Angeles, the 2 24/7 streaming channels on YouTube from the Locked On Podcast Network. Locked On Sports LA is where you can catch the Locked On Dodgers postcast, hosted by Pete Fox. It's a little bit different. It's more of a recap show. This isn't really a recap show. We talk about the games, but not recapping. The postcast is your recap show. Different voice than you'll get here. We agree on some things, we disagree on some things, and the things we agree on, sometimes we have different reasoning. So check that out. Also, catch every pitch of every Dodger game on SiriusXM or the SXM app by searching for Dodgers, and make your second listen Locked On MLB, hosted by Sully. It's a lot of fun covering all of Major League Baseball. So check that out wherever you get podcasts or on YouTube. And jumping back in, Gavin Stone was great tonight. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts. Just gave up 1 home run to William Contreras, which happens sometimes, and it was a really good at bat. It was like the 10th, 12th pitch of the at bat. Contreras battled and then got his pitch and hit it over the wall. William Contreras does that sometimes, and that's why it's nice to have offense show up. That was the only blemish really for Stone. The rest of the outing was really, really good. There were too many foul balls, probably. Pete just mentioned this on the postcast, something we do agree on, that Stone, despite having the 6 strikeouts, didn't necessarily have his best strikeout stuff tonight, his swing and miss stuff. Part of the reason he only went 5 innings because Bryce Terang, the last batter that Stone faced to end the 5th inning, Terang got 12 pitches, I think, which got Stone's pitch count up to 86, which is, not a hard limit, but he hasn't thrown 100 pitches in a game since his shutout against the White Sox, and a lot of people believe that is what started his struggles. So I suspect that around 90 pitches is where they want to keep him right now. And so if he had gotten a quicker at bat against Trang and finished the fifth inning at, 78, 80 pitches, maybe he gets another inning, but he didn't. So he didn't. But other than that, it was a great outing and really his first good outing since that shutout against the White Sox. This one, obviously shutout, complete game shutout is going to be impressive no matter who it is, but it was the White Sox. This was against a very good first place team that, is a good hitting team and has been on a roll lately. And so for Stone to do this, I kind of hinted at the beginning of the episode. For a long time this year, it seemed like Gavin Stone was almost a lock to be in the Dodgers postseason rotation. It was just, you think 4 starting pitchers, and Gavin Stone was probably, the number 2 star that most people would have named, especially after Yamamoto got hurt. It's like, okay, Glasnow and Stone, those are your 2 sure things. And then we'll see who else. Those last 6 starts since that shutout, Stone has dropped out of that contention to the point where most people were like, okay, well, hopefully Yamamoto comes back. They got Jack Flaherty. That's 3 starters. And then we'll see who fights that 4th spot. Stone pitched today like a guy who thought that he was like he wanted that postseason spot. I really like Gavin Stone. You guys, if you're an everydayer, I'm a huge Gavin Stone fan. And so it was fun to watch him pitch well. And I am hoping that he grabs that postseason rotation spot. I think that he could pitch very well in that spot, and I hope that he earns it. But he's going to have to earn it. And what they did today, it was nice. They had Landon Knack on the roster. They called up Landon Knack when River Ryan got hurt. And they said at the time Knack was going to pitch out of the bullpen. We also kind of know with Walker Buehler starting on Wednesday, Landon Knack is probably going back down to the minors. And this probably took the probably out of that because he pitched 4 innings. He got a save, 11th different Dodger to get a save this season. Pitching 4 innings, just allowed 1 run. And it was 3 hits in that inning, but none of them were hit hard. It was just kind of bloopy and ploopy. And again, that's why you'd like to have strikeout stuff once in a while. He only struck out 2 in his 4 innings. But other than that, he just gave up those 3 hits and 1 run and looked really good. And most of all, he saved the bullpen because the fact is, chances are the Dodgers are probably going to need the bullpen tomorrow because Walker Buehler, we don't know what to expect from him. And I'm going to talk about Buehler in the next segment. I'm going to talk about how that piggyback sets that up. The other thing I want to talk about here in this segment, when we're talking about the postseason starting rotation, is Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He threw a 40-pitch bullpen session today with good results. Obviously, when you throw a bullpen session when you're hurt, the big test is how do you feel the next day. But the plan right now is for him to fly to St. Louis and to face hitters in a sim game in St. Louis. And that's a big step because a sim game or 2, and then it's time for a rehab assignment. And so Yamamoto could realistically be back in the next few weeks, which would be, if he's back by the start of September, that gives him 4 or 5 starts to get tuned up for the postseason to make sure everything's good. And, we really won't know what to expect from Yamamoto in the postseason until we see him back in the big leagues. But other than Yamamoto's first start in Korea, he was very, very good this season when he was healthy. And so if he comes back healthy, there's no reason to expect anything other than him being very, very good again. So that's pretty exciting. Like we're at the point now where you could see a rotation of Glasnow, Flaherty, Yamamoto, and Stone in some order. And that's leaving a lot of guys who could potentially, at least guys with good stuff, Walker Buehler has good stuff. Bobby Miller has good stuff. Justin Robleski has good stuff. Landon Knack has good stuff. There are guys who, we'll see where they end up. And that's without even mentioning Clayton Kershaw, who Kershaw doesn't have a fastball anymore, but we've seen him be successful with that before. I still don't expect Kershaw to be in the postseason rotation because he's probably going to get forced out by some of these other guys who are forcing the issue. But you could do worse for a 4th starter than Clayton Kershaw too, the way he's pitched other than that Padres game. And that's a big other than. We'll have to see what he brings to the table over the last 6-7 weeks of the season, whatever it is. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of decisions for the Dodgers to make, and it's the good kind of decision. It's like, hey, we have potentially a lot of really good qualified guys. We talked yesterday about the roster crunch on the position player side, like Kevin Kiermaier and Jason Hayward, 2 veterans. Are they both going to make the postseason roster? I doubt both of them will make it. Maybe neither of them. Andy Pah has a rookie with a lot of potential. Is he going to make the postseason roster? So they've got a lot of fun decisions coming up on both the hitting side and the pitching side. They're fun because they're being forced mostly by players playing well. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about this piggyback start from Landon Knack and how that sets up the bullpen for Buehler Day, what we might expect from Walker Buehler, all of that. So thank you again for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen, and please keep it Locked On Dodgers. This episode is brought to you by Ibotta. Sandals, sunscreen, snacks for the kids. What do these have in common? You're probably buying a ton again this summer. But don't stress about the cost. Use Ibotta and get cash back on all your purchases when you stock up on all your summer essentials. Ibotta is a free app that gives you the most cash back every time you shop on hundreds of items, from groceries to beauty supplies to toys. You're going to be buying this stuff anyway, so you might as well make sure you're beating inflation by getting cash back on it. The average Ibotta user earns $256 a year. That could cover the cost of a shopping trip, a plane ticket, a Dodger game, or the fancy dinner you've been craving. So join the over 50 million users and earn cash back every time you shop from over 2,700 brands and retailers, including all your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code LOCKEDONMLB. This episode is also brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. And I'm back. Thank you again for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen every weekday morning, or your last listen every night before every weekday morning, as the case may be. If you're here live with us, we love doing these live episodes with you, trying to keep my eye on the chat as much as possible. As I've mentioned, it is a lot easier when there's 2 of us, but we are doing our best. So jumping back in, Walker Buehler gets the start on Wednesday. That means most likely that Landon Knack's reward for his 4-inning save is a plane ticket, not to Oklahoma City, because Oklahoma City is playing in Las Vegas. So a plane ticket from Milwaukee to Las Vegas. Hey, Las Vegas in August. That sounds like a reward. I bet it's only 150,000 degrees. Actually, I drove through Las Vegas yesterday, and it was about 150,000 degrees. But that's where Landon Knack will be going, most likely, because he pitched 4 innings. And it's the perfect setup for a Walker Buehler start. You didn't use any relievers who will be on the roster tomorrow, which means everybody is somewhere between fresh and almost fresh, which is what you need, because we don't know what to expect from Walker Buehler. We can hope. Walker Buehler still has good stuff. And that phrase, good stuff. So I tweeted out yesterday, and I mentioned on the podcast that said Joe Kelly has too good of stuff to be as bad as he is sometimes. And some Astros fan felt the need to argue with me. Said he doesn't have good stuff. He even said himself he can't control where it's going. And I said, yes, stuff and command are 2 different things. And he sends back a screenshot of Joe Kelly's stats. And I tried 4 different ways of saying stuff and command are different things. You can have good stuff and still not be a good pitcher, which was kind of the point of the tweet about Joe Kelly. But this guy, I mean, he's an Astros fan, so obviously you don't know what's going on in that brain of his. But anyway, talking about stuff, Walker Buehler has good stuff. It's been a command thing for him too. And, his last rehab start in the minors was better. And, if the command comes back, like the thing about Walker Buehler, I've seen people say, oh, he needs the sticky stuff. He hasn't been the same since the sticky stuff ban. The fact is, Walker Buehler was He got better in 2021 after the sticky stuff ban. He pitched like a Cy Young Award winner for the rest of that season after they banned sticky stuff. Now, did it lead to the arm injury? It might have. But he can pitch without the sticky stuff. And the question is, will he? And that's a question that none of us know the answer to. We probably all have opinions on what to expect in Wednesday's game. And you guys know me, I'm annoyingly optimistic. I am hoping for the best, but I'm not confident about it. And we've talked in the past about what the Dodgers do if Walker Buehler is bad again. And honestly, I think if he has a really bad start, they might be done with him. I think it's more likely that he has kind of a start where the numbers don't look great, but he showed some flashes and there's enough hope there that they say, okay, well, we're going to do at least one more. And they keep going because the upside of Buehler is really, really high. If he comes back, if he gets that command back, it's better than any, like Dodgers already got Jack Flaherty at the trade deadline. He was the best pitcher moved at the trade deadline. If they got 2021 Walker Buehler back, he would be right up there with the best pitchers acquired late this season, and Dodgers aren't the only team. You've got obviously Blake Snell came back for the Giants and has pitched really well. You have different teams with Robbie Ray, kind of same thing. That's what the Dodgers, like in their dream world, that's what it would be. Walker Buehler comes back and is peak Walker Buehler. And there's no reason it can't happen. It's not like he's old. His stuff is still roughly the same. It's just a matter of commanding it and sequencing it and all those things that go into taking a guy with good stuff and turning him into a good pitcher. Mr. Seabad says Buehler's going to pitch a no-hitter tomorrow. And he says, and yes, I drink. I don't drink. So I disagree. If for no other reason that there's no way the Dodgers would let him throw enough pitches tomorrow to throw a no-hitter. But it wouldn't shock me at all if Buehler goes 6 innings and allows 2 hits and 1 run, because he is that kind of pitcher when he's right. We just don't know. And that's kind of, it's one of the things that I really enjoy about baseball is sometimes things seem like foregone conclusions. And this is a fun time when we just have no idea what's going to happen. And that's a little bit more exciting sometimes to have big question marks. And obviously, it's more fun when it's not your team, I guess. I don't really want question marks in my favorite team starting rotation, but this is still a fun thing about baseball. The fact that the Dodgers don't really know what they're going to get out of Walker Buehler tomorrow. And we can hope. And then we will talk about it tomorrow because that's what we do. And there will be plenty to talk about. Hopefully it'll be good. Who knows? And hopefully the offense shows up, because the fact is, if the offense shows up, Dodgers can win this game whether Buehler's good or not. The Dodgers last year in the postseason, if the offense had shown up, they would have won that series against the D-backs. As bad as the pitching was, Lance Lynn gave up 4 home runs in an inning. Guess what? That was the only 4 runs the D-backs scored that game. Dodgers lost the last 2 games 4-2. If the offense shows up to those 2 games, the Dodgers win those 2 games and probably win the series. If the Dodgers offense shows up against the Padres in 2022, they win that series. It's all going to be about the offense, and that's the same thing tomorrow. If Buehler gives up 6 runs, just score 8. That's going to be the key. The Dodgers need their offense to show up, but this will be fun to see what Buehler does. And having a fully rested bullpen, or almost fully rested bullpen, thanks to Landon Knack, is a big deal. It worked out really well that they were able to get 4 innings from Landon Knack in this game and then send him back to the minors. Landon Knack will almost surely be the corresponding move to activate Walker Buehler. Buehler's not on the 60-day IL, so they don't need a 40-man roster move. They wouldn't necessarily anyway, because they still have an empty spot on the 40-man roster because of DFAing Ahmed Rosario. There will be more roster moves coming up. As we've talked about, the chances are they're still talking about what to do on Friday, because they don't really want Tyler Glasnow to go on 4 days rest on Friday. And so they're probably going to call somebody up. My guess would be Justin Robleski. I guess it could be Bobby Miller. I haven't looked. I'm not sure when Miller pitched last, but Robleski probably makes more sense. Call him up to pitch on Friday and bump Glasnow back to Saturday in that Cardinals series. So Robleski, that would mean another roster move. That might be when Brent Honeywell gets the boot, which probably means that Brent Honeywell, if you can kind of tell what their thinking is sometimes by looking at who they're using. And so if they use Brent Honeywell for multiple innings tomorrow following Buehler, that probably means they're planning on dumping him to make room for Robleski, et cetera, et cetera. I thought that, and I think they probably thought that's what they were doing or at least the plan in that game against the Phillies when Honeywell went 4 innings or whatever it was. The only reason he stayed on the roster after that was because of Gratterall's injury and then River Ryan's injury. But I think Brent Honeywell's time is probably up soon as they get guys back. Ryan Brazier's close to coming back. Yamamoto's a few weeks away. A lot of roster moves coming up, and then we got Muncy and Edman on Monday. That's when we'll see. That's when we'll really get a feeling for what their plans are for the offensive side of things, the defensive side of things, because who they drop from the roster to make room for Muncy and Edman will tell us a lot. But right now, it's Landon Knack going down. I'm sure. I don't know if they've announced it yet. I haven't obviously been scrolling Twitter while I've been talking to you. Nick Ahmed just hit 10 years of service time, which Bruce Kuntz makes a good point on Twitter that maybe that was why Nick Ahmed stayed on the roster, because he was so close to 10 years of service time. That would be a meaningful thing to him. He's actually the 6th different Dodger this year to get to 10 years of service time, which is kind of interesting that have guys all in that same area of service time. James Paxton, Mookie Betts, Kike Hernandez, Blake Trinan, and Miguel Rojas are the others. I'm just scrolling Twitter real quick to see if they have officially announced who's going down. I'm not seeing anything. But it's going to be Landon Knack going down, Walker Buehler coming back up. And then from there, it's one game at a time probably to see who sticks around. That's going to do it for me for today. Thank you guys for being with me again. This was a lot of fun. As I say that, Lingus Rob says fun. You keep saying that word. I don't think it means what you think it does. That's my cousin. I didn't notice until I saw the avatar. That's my cousin. Hey, cuz. There's maybe it's not super fun seeing how Walker Buehler is going to do, but it is fun. Baseball is fun. Baseball should be fun even when it sucks. But hopefully it won't suck. It'll be the fun kind of fun tomorrow. So we'll see. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. If you're not an everyday, it's easy to become one. Just watch or listen every weekday morning. What else? I've lost my train of thought. I just so blown away that my cousin is here in the chat. Be sure to check out Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Sports Los Angeles over on YouTube, the 24/7 streaming channels from the Locked On Podcast Network. Locked On Sports LA is where you can find the Locked On Dodgers postcast hosted by Pete Fox after almost every Dodger game. You can go beyond the podcast and become a Locked On Dodgers insider by going to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnDodgers. Text directly with us, get our updates before the podcast. Just a few bucks a month, free 14-day trial. So check that out. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Locked On Dodgers. Vince is on Twitter at VinceSince91. I'm on Twitter at Snydog. DMs are open for both of us there. You can, for your second listen, be sure to check out Locked On MLB, hosted by Sully. Really good show covering all of Major League Baseball. You can email us at lockedondodgers@gmail.com or send us a voicemail or a text message to 323-863-LOCK5625. We are here every weekday morning, and we hope you'll be here with us. When you get in your car or sit on your couch, tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On Dodgers. And remember, you don't have to agree. You just have to listen. We will talk to you tomorrow.